I want to talk about another how-to, and that is how to properly assess your client base for wealth management services. And we have a top 5 that we can discuss on how to segment that client base by 1, type of client, 2, by net worth, 3, by investable net worth, 4, by client pain point, and then lastly, by income. Okay?
Yeah, I like it.
Let's start out and discuss how to segment or why to segment your client by the type of client.
Yeah. So, this is a super important step and one that we will do with folks, if they sign up to try to incorporate this or have us help them incorporate this model. This is an important step for the onboarding process of an accounting firm that's looking to incorporate this through our program. And the second thing that I'll say is, the importance of a CRM is fantastic. So, in our experience, people that have been using a CRM and have this data accessible to them are usually the most successful at doing this kind of assessment because it's just as quick as running some reports. Another underlying reason why you should, if you're not using a CRM, to start to use a CRM. But to go right to the first point, which is when you're doing this assessment of your client base, the first would be type, right? And when we mean type, we really mean, are they a corporation? Are they companies? What type of corporations are there? What kind of businesses are they in? Financial services, agriculture, those kind of type segmentation can certainly be helpful. Also, that ties into, income. So, which of your clients are really high earners, and that can be something that you can dictate by certain income levels, depending on where you are, right? So a high income earner in Los Angeles may be very different than what a high income earner may be in Montana or Colorado or Indiana. And so, we don't want to try to say on this podcast, what those delineations are, but you can take a look and try to form, different groups and segmentations. The other would be maybe folks that are, have investment accounts, or some that don't. So type, there's a few different ways to go about that, but, are they an entity? Are they an individual? Income levels, are they investing or not? Some basic stuff.
And then the second point, although self-explanatory, can you touch on assessing clients via their net worth?
Yeah. So, the wonderful thing about accounting firms being able to start to go down this model is that you've got that data already.
Yeah.
So, we were just, you've got the K-1s, you've got their tax returns a lot of time. So, if there are investment accounts or investments being made, maybe through limited partnerships or, what they want to do. But the reason we say net worth here is, there are, you want to see what clients obviously have the highest net worth who might be really open to some of these services. Or, if your firm is made up of a lot of folks that maybe are lower income or middle kind of income, that doesn't exclude you from being able to incorporate an advisory service model. It just changes some of the services that you might be able to prepare for these folks. And the other thing that we'd really want to highlight around net worth is that when you look at net worth, that involves all the accountants in here, your assets and your liabilities. So, having a good, clear picture of, which clients have debt, which clients have high, maybe illiquid assets or liquid assets, but they're also maybe coupled with some variable debt, some larger debt. So breaking this down and segmenting your asset base by their net worth can be very helpful for you to position yourself to approach them with services that will be value added for them.
I agree. And in going over in another episode, we touched on liability management. So, getting those high interest rate, credit cards or student loan debt, and maybe paying that down before you start investing assets. So it's important to look at the liability side of ledger as well. All right, and the next number 3 is investable net worth. So why is it important to really look at this and segment it via investable net worth? And if you want to touch on what investable net worth is, Rob.
Right. So we had net worth on the previous point, and but that could include a lot of things that are not investable. That could include land, that could include ownership in companies, that could include a lot of different things, real estate, limited partnerships, art, you name it. But if you can get a sense of what the investable net worth is of some of your client base, and again, we don't need to be exact here. So if a lot of accountants get the 1099s from their clients' accounts, they have a lot of that data already. Do the best you can. Also, a lot of accounting firms ask these questions when they're onboarding already. And so, the real difference of the net worth versus investable net worth is explanatory in the name. Investable net worth would be more, the liquid cash, stocks, and securities, which are potentially able to be managed, which you might be able to then offer services to manage. So, if someone, again, the whole goal of putting this client assessment together is not to make judgments along the way while you're going. It really is to try to see what are the categories of clients that you have, and what are the situations, financial situations that your client base has, so you can then make a great business decision about what's the first service offering you're going to offer to them that's going to give the most value to them and set you up for the highest probability of success. So investable net worth, there could be scenarios where you have very high net worth clients, but very low investable net worth, because all of that net worth is really tied up in real estate or something that's not potentially being manageable. So that's okay. There's other services you can potentially provide that client. It could be life insurance, estate planning, financial planning, but that may not be really liquid net worth and investable assets to really chase after. And on the flip side, you may have clients that have really, really high liquid net worth. We're going to talk about this on the next item here, which is pain points. But in our experience, we come across a lot of folks, either by fear, risk tolerance, or just inexperience with investing, have very, very high liquid net worths in cash. And not to say that can't be a good solution for some people, but for most people, it's not. And so a lot of time, if you have a sense for clients that have high liquid net worths, that also provides an opportunity for you to then help them optimize that liquid net worth.
Great, Rob. And I think I wanted to let the accounting firms know that once you have those first 3, you have a clear picture of where your client stands. And I think the next point is really getting more subjective. And this is where the discovery meeting really comes into play. So let's touch on and how important it is to understand the client pain points.
Sure. So, the reason we put this as a last point is because as you go through this assessment, and, we come across a lot of accounting firms and partners that want to, do these kinds of assessments. We want to stress that it doesn't have to be perfect, So we've seen a lot of, we're going to try to highlight where there can be some sticky parts for people that get stuck. And this is one of them on the client assessment. We've worked with accounting firms where we've asked them these points to help gather some information, and they've come back, and months later we come back and ask them, well, where are you? And they say, we've got 5 clients that won't give me the exact investable net worth that they have, and I can't get it. It's okay. guesstimations are all right here. This is a tool and a practice to try to help prepare you on how to get started. It's not going to be perfect. But this last point, we brought this at the end, because after you look over all of this data, either working with us or working with your team or yourself allows you an opportunity to reflect, what are the pain points that my clients are seeing there? Do a lot of them not have retirement accounts? Do a lot of them have really high liquid net worths that's sitting in cash that they haven't even contemplated potentially investing? Do I have a high client base of corporations or entities that may have 401k plans and a lot of different employees? Or to your point earlier, Rory, a lot of times, and we've seen this especially this year and in the last previous years, is debt. You have the tax returns here. You're seeing the interest that clients are paying on a lot of the time on these liabilities. And so, that allows you an opportunity to potentially step in and say, how did you get this debt? Why did you get this debt? Is there a potential opportunity for you to make this, less expensive or structured in a more attractive way? Those can be really value add to clients, if you can figure out what those pain points are. You don't need to solve them all. No. Again, we want to make sure we're not boiling the ocean, but once you get through this assessment, you can make a good, honest assessment of what some pain points are and some wonderful solutions that you feel 100% confident and comfortable being able to provide to your trusted clients.
And we'll give you a list of top 10 pain points that clients do have, so you can kind of checklist those out. And maybe even touching on the fact, Rob, that estate planning could be an option for some of these clients, and maybe introducing that next generation to your services as well.
Absolutely. By no means are the things that we're talking about on this segment all inclusive. The pain points can be, or the potential solutions can be, all the different things we've talked about in this program: life insurance, estate planning, liabilities management, asset management, financial plans, corporate retirement plans. One thing that Practice Forward really talks about, and on the advisory model, is, if you can find a niche yourself in some of these areas, it will make you more attractive into the marketplace, right? So after you do this assessment, really what we suggest you do, either in tandem with conversations with us or again with your team, is pick one or two that you really think you can succeed with your existing client base to get started.
I agree, Rob. Keeping it simple once again, and that's why it's probably good for us to end on income, which is simple. And why don't you touch on how you can segment the clients via income, and how maybe they could easily start working with the higher income earners, I would assume, to start transferring them over to these wealth management services.
Absolutely. So again, this may fit into the type of client. It may not, but at the income level, you have a lot of this information as the tax preparer. You can see the combined income of the family. You can see where the income is coming from, and that provides a lot of opportunities to introduce financial planning. That involves a lot of opportunities to talk about how the investment side can collaborate with the tax planning side. But segmenting those into different categories can help to focus you on what you're going to offer. A big example is that a kid that's right out of college that might have a lot of student debt, and it maybe is a currently a low earner, but is employed in a process which is giving him a fast track to maybe becoming a high earner. It might behoove you, if you have a large segment base there, to offer some services to help some of them get connected with people who can help refinance some of their student debt. But you wouldn't necessarily talk to that client, about life insurance, at when they're 27 or whatnot, and really try to push that, or estate planning. You want to be able to provide services to people that they want or that they need. Similarly, people closer to retirement might be looking for income solutions. And, we've talked about it, and we'll talk more about it on the insurance side. Some annuities, traditionally, I've not been a huge fan of them, but with this no commission annuity products that are being offered by folks, some of those are actually adequate solutions for folks who are looking for retirement income solutions. So again, by segmenting by income and putting that in tandem with the other aspects that we just talked about as client type and whatnot, you're going to be able to formulate a good plan to really just roll out maybe one or two services to begin with that are going to set you up for success.
All right, Rob. So it sounds like, segmenting this client base is important to offering these wealth management services. You touched on the type of client. If it's a business, we might be able to offer them retirement planning accounts for their employees. You can look at the net worth, sort of investing assets and having us manage assets, or having the accounting firm manage the assets. Investable net worth, that could probably look at that from an investing standpoint, as well as a tax planning aspect. And then, client pain points, there's a number of different ways we can take those services after looking at the client needs and pain points. And then lastly, income, as you stated, looking at those higher earners and being able to offer them potentially annuities if they're looking for fixed income. So I think, segmenting the clients is important to, developing this wealth management strategy.
Absolutely. And last but not least is it's a good way to assess where you are, and also then potentially reconfirm for yourself and for your firm what type of clients you really want, right?
That client profile that you're looking for, right?
Right.
You can profile each of those clients, and then you can look towards, any prospects or future clients, and this is the client profile that we're looking for as a firm.
Right. So we'll talk about this on later segments of what, some real practical things that you can do with this list. But
how to market this list.
Yeah, it's a good start. This assessment is going to be able to help you, see where you are, help you focus about where you want to go, make decisions about what initial services you want to roll out, and then maybe some goals for some future stuff that you can set out a roadmap. So it's important in a lot of ways. And again, if you can incorporate this information into a CRM, much easier for you to update going forward, and that data can then be real-time accessible to you on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is specs or maybe a blueprint for accounting firms to look at before they lay the foundation, with that discovery meeting, which we'll cover in detail.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Good stuff, Rob.
Wonderful. Thanks, Rory, as always.
Thank you, Rob.
All right.
Have a great day.